Hello there and welcome to another edition of the Evening Review. My name is Ogito Greg, and in studio with me this evening I have Miss Lydia Matheus. She is a special education teacher at Dagbreek School. Good evening, Lydia. How are you?
I'm good, Greg, and how are you?
Good, thank you. Tell us more about yourself and about your association with Dagbreek and with intellectually disabled learners, please.
You've introduced me, so my name is Lydia Matheus.
Yes.
I'm a special education teacher at Dagbreek Resource School.
Yes.
It's situated in Kleinwindhoek, and I work with learners that have intellectual disability.
Yes.
And I just want to emphasize a point there. So you mentioned, or you're confused, you said mental.
Yes, yes.
So there's a big difference between intellectual disability and mental health.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of people don't really understand what is intellectual disability.
Yes.
So just to explain to you in a very brief overview, with mental health, it's just, it's a mental state where you aren't feeling okay. So let's say maybe you are anxious, you are depressed, and you get diagnosed by a professional or a psychiatrist.
Okay.
You get medication, you go on treatment, you go to therapy, and you feel better.
Okay.
With intellectual disability, you are diagnosed with intellectual disability, and it is permanent. Yes, it's
okay.
permanent. So once you are diagnosed with it, it's not reversible. And there is medication, but the medication is just to help with the symptoms. It doesn't take your diagnosis away.
I see.
Yes, and there's also a misconception that people with intellectual disabilities should be in mental hospital or psychiatric wards, which is not true. They are just in inclusive spaces, just like people that are visually impaired or hearing impaired. So there's a major difference between intellectual disability and mental disability or mental health.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Please also educate us more about Dagbreek and about your learners.
So Dagbreek Resource School caters to learners with intellectual disabilities. And to go into a few more details for people to really understand Dagbreek Resource School.
Yes.
So these learners, their brain is wired completely different compared to the average person.
Okay.
So even their day-to-day lives, like waking up, getting breakfast, dressing, can be very, very challenging. Reading, academic skills, problem solving, critical thinking skills is a big challenge. And for this reason, they don't fit into the mainstream schools. Mainstream schools, they assess you, can you read, can you write, can you do mathematics? And of course, our learners are not able to do that. Yeah. And that's where Dagbreek Resource School comes. So the school caters for kids from the ages of 7 to the ages of 21. Okay. And we place emphasis to the age group between the ages of 18 to 21. We also don't do grades. You don't say I'm in grade 7, I write an exam, and I go to grade 8 because of their ability. So we grade them in levels and their ages. Yeah. Okay. So from the ages of 18 to 21, that's now we focus on practical skills. So we have classes such as woodwork, brick making, hairdressing, agriculture, to teach them life skills. These learners, they don't go to university, they're not going to be lawyers and doctors. So we want to push them into practical skills where they can, get a salary for themselves and not just depend on the disability grant. So in a nutshell, that is Dagbreek Resource School.
Awesome. So basically you equip them to integrate into society.
Definitely.
But tell us, what are your lived experiences in terms of inclusivity with Namibian society when it comes to learners that are intellectually disabled?
Personally, Namibia is doing a very good job with inclusion. Our buildings are accessible to people in wheelchairs. We have sign language interpreters. We have Braille for visually impaired people. But I think there's a big gap when it comes to intellectual disability. Yeah. And I see this every day, Most of our learners are hidden at home because of the stigma, stigma that, it's witchcraft. And to be quite honest, And I also see this with the marathons. You know, we have a dedicated running group. Last year they took part in, I think, 9 national marathons. And you know, these marathons have very good categories, and they are very inclusive. So you find categories for wheelchair users, you find categories for visually impaired, for hearing impaired. But unfortunately, I haven't come across a marathon in Namibia that had a category for learners with intellectual disability. So we really need more advocacy and more awareness on people living with intellectual disabilities in Namibia.
I see. And on the 28th of March, you're going to be doing something about that situation. Please tell us what you're going to be doing.
So on the 28th of March, it's something historic in Namibia. It will be the first ever run for people with intellectual disabilities. So we are going to raise awareness on what is intellectual disabilities, and it's an umbrella term. You know, so we're going to have learners with Down syndrome. We're going to have learners with autism spectrum disorder. We're going to have learners with cerebral palsy. We're going to have learners on wheelchairs, but with intellectual disabilities. And they're going to show us that, you know, it doesn't mean if our brain is wired differently, we can run alongside the Namibian community. So we are going to have a 2-kilometer race that's just dedicated to them. But mind you, there will be a few of our learners that will be doing the 10-kilometer as well, and the 21 kilometers. So if you think you are better, I challenge you to come and run along with the kids.
Wow, that's wonderful. Tell me, who's helping, who's supporting, who's sponsoring this big event, this first for Namibia?
You know, I'm very grateful to the Namibian society. You know, a lot of corporate companies came on board, the community, the parents, and we'll just like to give a big shout out to Standard Bank. They'll be sponsoring us with the main event, the logistics and the technical parts of the marathon.
Wow, Standard Bank. Okay, well done, Standard Bank. All right, and what can we expect to happen on the day?
So, 6 a.m. That's the 21 kilometer. So that's the first race. And then we have the 10 kilometer, the 5 kilometer. And the star of the show will be the 2 kilometer, which will be now the learners with intellectual disability. So we're going to run. We're going to cheer them on. There will also be volunteers to run along with the kiddies, the pacers. We call them pacers. And after that, we're going to start with our official program, where there will be categories for the learners. Of course, we need to give recognition to them. So there's going to be first prize, second prize, according to the age group.
Like a prize giving ceremony.
Definitely. And you know, it's going to be a festival. There's going to be music, there's going to be entertainment. And I know our Namibians love food.
Yes, we do.
So there's going to be stalls as well. So it's going to be a family day. So come along with your family, with your dogs. Come see what is intellectual disability, and don't be afraid of the word disability. So it's a day we are going to educate the nation, and I'm very excited for that day.
Have you decided on a route yet?
The routes are there. Yes, the routes are there. So the venue will take place at Windhoek High School. And with the route, they'll have to run past Dagbreek Resource School, so the people can also know that, there's Dagbreek Resource School. And it's not only learners from Dagbreek Resource School that will be running. It will also be our sister school, which is Morrison. Yes, we have 3 special schools in Namibia. Yes, we have Dagbreek Resource School. In Klein Windhoek, we have Morrison in Friedels, and we have Alua in the north. Yes.
So 2 in Windhoek and 1 in the north.
Definitely. And also other private schools that cater to learners with intellectual disabilities, and also learners or people that are not in schools can also come and register under intellectual disabilities if they have intellectual disability. So we are really raising awareness on intellectual disability.
It's very good. I'm interested to know what's your normal school day like?
So our school starts at 7:30. Learners get breakfast, and we start teaching the kids what are they capable of. You know, in mainstream schools, they assess the kids on what can you read, can you write, can you do maths. As a special education teacher, we look at the child's strength. What can the child do? And we build on that.
Okay.
So that's what we do. So there's a lot of teaching and there's a lot of practicals as well, as I mentioned in the access phase.
Yeah.
10 o'clock it's break time. 10:30 they are back in the classrooms, and we continue with our syllabi. And again, our curriculum and our syllabi is different compared to the mainstream schools. And 12 o'clock they get lunch, and we call it a day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Coming back to the issue of inclusivity,
Yeah.
do you think that the biggest problem that Namibian society has is a lack of information? Is it that we don't know enough, or is it maybe prejudice? Do we have preconceived ideas that are holding us back? What do you think the problems are?
We definitely have preconceived ideas that are holding us back. Because, as I said, with physical disability, it's either you're in an accident or you injured yourself. But then with intellectual disability, it's so much stigma. People are whispering, "Oh, you did something," and we see this every day where. From the parents tell us, and we have a very long waiting list of learners that are still home and that are not at school, because parents are also scared to come and say, "I have a child with intellectual disability." And also it's a lack of information, lack of education. I mean, a lot of people really don't understand what is intellectual disability, and it's for the reason that you can't physically see it, which is understandable. But the minute you interact with a person with intellectual disability, then you will understand that, oh, you are different from the average person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the race, the marathon, what do you think that participants, the general public that participate, what will they gain?
They will gain awareness. And they're going to be educated on intellectual disability. Your questions are all leading to that. We really want the general public to understand what is intellectual disability. And there are some families that have a child at home with intellectual disabilities that don't know that there are schools that cater to my child. Every child has a right to education. And that's why we have the schools. It doesn't mean you're not going to UNAM, you're not going to NAS, that you should stay home. No. So we give every child a right to education. So we really want to build momentum and awareness to the general public. And there will be lucky draw.
Awesome.
There will be a lucky draw for the general public. Of course, they're not going to win first or second prize because they're not the star of the show, but we want to appreciate them. I mean, waking up early on a Saturday morning to go and run. So there are going to be prizes, lucky draws for the general public. Thank
you, Ms. Matheus. We'll be right back with that, and we'll be right back with more after this commercial break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us again. We continue our conversation. In studio with me, Ms. Lydia Matheus. She's a special education teacher, and she's got something special planned for the 28th of March, a marathon. What's it called, this special marathon?
Run for Intellectual Disability.
And the theme?
Disability does not mean inability.
Awesome, awesome. We were talking before the break about the benefits for the general public who participate. But what benefits will there be for the learners that participate in the run for intellectual disability?
All right. So besides the health benefits, that comes with running, we've seen in real life, we've seen the benefits of what running alongside the general public does to these learners. When they put on those racing shoes, their mindset is, I'm not someone with intellectual disability anymore. I'm a runner. I'm a Namibian athlete. I can just run like anyone else. So it definitely boosts their self-confidence, and it gives them this sense that I'm part of Namibia.
Awesome.
and I'm part of the Namibian sports culture. And usually after our runs, you know, the learners, they just, to them, they're like, you know, I'm a person first, I'm a citizen second, and I'm an athlete, and my disability is just an afterthought.
Awesome.
So that's the benefits. They feel included.
They feel included.
They feel included because they are so used to being hidden.
Yeah.
They are so used to, you're at home, you go to a school that caters to learners with intellectual disability. So that's their life, home and school. But when we go out, when we take part in these marathons, they get to socialize with the general public, and they just feel like a Namibian citizen without the label.
You know, my wife is also an avid runner, and one of the things I found so strange about the running community, running is basically something you do by yourself. You're the only one running by yourself. But the community is so courteous and inclusive. You know, I think it's a nice fit.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, definitely.
Tell us a bit more about the categories that will apply for your marathon.
So under intellectual disabilities, we have 5 categories. That will be learners with Down syndrome. That will be learners with autism spectrum disorder. That will be learners with cerebral palsy. That will be learners with wheelchair users that are diagnosed with intellectual disabilities. Usually they get in car accidents and their body gets injured and their brain gets injured as well. And also learners with general intellectual disabilities. And the 3 categories are for our general public. We've got the 21 kilometers, we've got the 10 kilometers, and we've got the 5 kilometers. And I said there will be learners that will be doing the 10 and the 25 as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
So the general public, how do they register? What are the costs? Please elaborate.
Registration for the public, for the general public, is just 50 Namibian dollars. You register via a link that is on the school's Facebook page, Dagbreek Resource School. And they can also just reach out to me on my number, which is 081-267-8291, and I'll send you all the information regarding the marathon.
Just to go back to our very first question where I asked you to tell us a bit about yourself. Where does your passion for the work that you do, where did it come from?
I studied education.
Yeah.
And while I was studying education, you know, I started learning more myself. I didn't know about intellectual disability. I didn't know there were schools for that. And I saw that gap. You know, during our practice, you know, you need to do, it's called SBS training. Most of our practice, most of the students will just go to the mainstream schools, but not to these special schools. And that's where I realized that there really is a gap when it comes to teachers, especially special education teachers. And I'm a runner myself, but my kids are way faster than me.
Really?
Yes, I mean, they can tackle 10 kilometers in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. And you know, when we started with the marathon, it was under very bad conditions where, you know, most of our learners come from very bad and poor backgrounds, so they didn't have the appropriate running shoes. They didn't have the appropriate gear, so they'll come running barefoot, they'll come running with school shoes. And also that's one of the objectives of this marathon is to raise funds for the running team to get them, to get them the appropriate gear. I mean, if they are doing so well with the limitations, imagine what they can do with the appropriate resources. Definitely.
Oh, very good. But you know, if you're going to tackle a marathon, you should prepare ahead of time. You should do some practicing. We
run Tuesdays to Wednesdays from 2 to 4. So the initiative actually started, I was like, how can I get my learners off the streets? Usually they're taken advantage of because of their disability. So to keep them safe until the parents are at home at 5 o'clock, I decided, let's train. And while we were training, the hype of marathons just came about. Everyone is running on a Saturday. So I realized, let me just sign the kids up. They never did a kilometer, a 2 kilometer. It was just basic training. And they shocked me so much. They've been winning their category, the junior category, first, second, and third place in female and male. But then we noticed they are winning the category that falls under the general public. So they are competing against able-bodied people,
Yes.
and they are still winning.
Wow.
So that's very impressive
That is
to
very
me.
impressive,
Yeah. So that's where the initiative started from, actually.
I imagine that you said there were 3 schools
Yeah.
that cater to these learners, but the schools are probably quite limited. How much space is there? How many students do you deal with, and how big is the problem in Namibia?
The problem is massive. Currently, the waiting list is standing at 400. I don't have the figures right at Dagbreek School, and I don't have the figures for Morrison. But the situation isn't good at all. I mean, it's just 3 schools,
Yeah.
2 in Windhoek and 1 in the Lower. So when kids from the south or from the far north need space, they usually come to Windhoek. They're usually seeking accommodation as well, hostel facilities, and we cannot accommodate that. So it's the situation is actually bad. Yeah. Because our school right now, there's just 200 learners, 240 learners. That's what the school caters to. And because of their challenges and their abilities, the teacher to learner ratio is just 1 to 10. So I've just got 10 learners in my class, and it feels like I've got 100. They keep me on my toes, but I just love them so much. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about what you are busy with now in terms of the marathon, and what will come after that. What's next?
So we have the registration for the marathon is closing on Monday for those that wish to register.
This coming Monday.
This coming Monday.
Oof, okay.
Yes, the 3rd of the 2nd of March. So we're busy finalizing the registrations, the logistics, the technical part. It's gonna be a very well sanctioned and safe marathons where everyone is gonna get a T-shirt. Everyone is going to get a participant medal. And there'll be timing chips for the bibs as well. So it will be a very professional marathon. That's what we are busy with. And after that, be ready to see the Dagbreek running team in all the marathons that will be taking place this year. I know the first one that will be attending will be the Sanlam Aliens Marathon, the 25th of April. So if you see us there, please give us a shout out.
That's barely a month after your marathon. Okay. But your marathon should prepare your runners, I guess.
They're always prepared.
Oh, wow.
So that's the way ahead. We are gearing up, definitely.
Can you share with us maybe 1 or 2 personal highlights that stand out from you, memories from your teaching work with your learners?
With my teaching work, so my learners, they've been with me for 3 years now, and so now they moved to a bigger classroom, and every day in the afternoon they'll come to me, Miss, I miss you so much, can I come back? And I'm like, no, you can't come back, you need to go to the big class. And another memory is when we went to Swakopmund last year, specifically with the running team for the Bafmoes Marathon. And a learner of mine went by the ocean, and she came to me, Miss, why is the water so salty? And it dawned to me that she's never been to the coast, she's never seen the ocean or the sea, and that was just a beautiful moment. And that's one of the another benefit for this running team. You know, we travel with them, they get to see the world, they get to experience new things. So that was I was like, yes, the sea, it is salty. And she was like, I can't drink it, it's salty. So yeah, every day is just it's a learning curve. Every day is different for these learners. Definitely.
No, the work you are doing is wonderful, Ms. Matheus. What would you like Namibians in general who are watching and might be inspired, what can they do? Apart from now signing up before Monday.
Sign up! Sign up for the marathon, and let's expand our knowledge. Let's not be scared of the word disability. They are us, you know, they are Namibians. We are all Namibians. Their brain is wired differently, but it doesn't mean that we should be afraid of them, or we should treat them differently, or we should be impatient. And you know, people usually again have this misconception that, well, maybe they're just not trying too hard. Maybe they must just study. Maybe they must just read more. But unfortunately, it's just the way the brain is wired, you know. You can't force someone to do something if they're incapable of doing it. Yeah. So don't look down on them and say, oh, you are slow, you are stupid, you believe you need to be in the mental hospital. No. So we need to move away from all those negative labels and just look at them that you and me, we are Namibians, we are Namibian citizens.
And they contribute, they enrich your life.
Definitely. They make us so happy. Every day is a fun day at work.
Thank you very much. We've only got 1 minute, so I'd just like you to remind our viewers where they can register.
So on Facebook, you type in Dagbreek Resource School. The link is there. And you can also reach out to me at 081-267-8291. And I'll send you all the information regarding the registration process.
Thank you, Ms. Matheus.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you all for joining us. And I hope that you do take up this challenge, this opportunity to join a really worthwhile cause and to run with some learners who are a little bit different, a little bit special, maybe a little bit better in some ways. So that's all for tonight. Join us again for tomorrow night's evening review.